الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My beloved brothers and sisters, this book in my hand right now is a book that has broken the motivation of many Arabic students. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why that's the case and how a person can overcome it. But I do want to also mention that I'm not saying that this book is a bad book in any way, shape, or form. In fact, this is actually a masterpiece in the Arabic language, a book that everybody must come to eventually in order to make their journey of learning the Arabic language easy. And this is none other than the book, for those of you that have recognized it, Al-Muqaddimatul Ajrumiyya. Okay, the famous book Al-Ajrumiyya, which is written in the science of Ilm al-Nahwi, so Arabic grammar. Written by the great Imam Ibn Ajurrum. And inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to show to you that despite this being a masterpiece, if a person doesn't approach it in the right manner, you will fail, and you will fail miserably. And to some extent, you might even give up and lose all motivation for learning and studying the Arabic language. So let's get into a bit about what this book is, and then I'll explain to you the problems regarding it. And the first problem that a person faces when it comes to studying this particular book is that a person approaches it at a very early stage of the studies of the Arabic language. Why is this a problem, and how early are we really talking? Well, I want you to understand the nature of what Arabic grammar is. Principles that allow you to understand how word structures should happen and how sentences should really be structured. Okay? It's basically principles that you would learn, that you would apply on a language. And in this case, it's the Arabic language. But if a person doesn't have enough vocabulary in their bank, they don't have enough words memorized or sentences, or they've not been exposed to comprehension or the or speaking sentences in the Arabic language, then when you learn these principles, how are you meant to apply them if you don't have any vocabulary? So a lot of people tell you study grammar first. No, that shouldn't be the case, because the grammar requires the words in the first place for you to be able to apply them and see how they actually work, and then basically memorize them and then go ahead and apply them on other things in the future. But if you can't do that at the beginning without any vocabulary, then you're not going to benefit from it. And so it's very important that before you study Arabic grammar, you take the path in which a person should do when it comes to learning and educating themselves. And every science has a path for it. And with the Arabic language, it would make sense that you equip yourself with some words. Become familiar with basic vocabulary, with basic sentence structures. And then once you have a decent amount, and again, I'm not saying you have to be proficient before you go ahead to Arabic grammar, but you should know something and should be able to know the basics of asma, the basics of af'al, and the basics of huruf in terms of vocabulary, words themselves, okay? So you should be able to know pronouns and, basic names and etc. You should be basic adjectives, you should be able to say basic verbs from the past, present, and future. You should be able to know the different types of huruf that are out there. And once you have that vocabulary, when you go off to studying Arabic grammar, because you will focus a lot on asma, then you will also focus on af'al, and huruf will also be mentioned, and adawat. You have something to work with. And so a lot of the times, if you just jump into it, you're like, okay, I understand there's something called mubtada and khabar. I don't understand, the mubtada is the first ism of a word, but I don't know any isms myself. So the first ism of a sentence is a mubtada. And then you have the khabar. Okay, but if I don't know any words, how am I supposed to figure out, is this a mubtada, is this a khabar, is this an ism, what's an ism? It becomes very confusing. And so, generally speaking, if a person jumps into grammar too early, you will find this confusion. Again, I just want to recorrect myself. It's not about jumping into grammar too early. It's about jumping into al-ajrumiyya early, beyond that. Okay, beyond you, before getting to the stage where you're actually equipped enough to actually understand it. You should, as you learn Arabic and you learn basic vocabulary, that you will come across basic principles. You'll come across, for example, ma'rifa and nakira. Okay, alif and lam and tanween. These basic things will come to you. And so learning basic principles every now and again is good, because it helps build you and develop you. But then to jump into al-ajrumiyya before that even happens, you will be utterly confused. And I've seen this with many people, that they start this book and they attempt it and they completely let it go. They cannot go beyond they don't have the passion now and the motivation to go forward. I actually know a brother, okay? I actually know a brother, subhanAllah, who found Ajurumiyya, the way it was being taught to him, so complicated that he just gave up and wanted to study Arabic language. He was just, I'm just going to leave it. He goes, I'll just read translations of works because this is just too complicated. And then for those people that actually keep motivated and you keep going, you might find yourself having to study this book 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Someone like me, okay, who studied Ajurumiyya multiple times. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't study the book once or twice to kind of ground yourself in it. That's very good, and then do muraja and doing revisions and etc. But if you're learning the book once and twice and then 3 times and 4 times, and every time you're only understanding very like minor stuff or a very small amount, then you're not really benefiting from your time. It means that there's a gap in your knowledge and you have to go back a little bit and take something else and then make your way to this. So that's the number one reason, which is you're taking it way too early. The second thing, inshallah ta'ala, I want to mention is, again, which adds to the first point, is that this is an Arabic book. Okay, it's an Arabic text written in the science of Arabic grammar. And so really it's made for Arabic speakers. It's made for people that know a bit about Arabic. And so not only do you not know any vocabulary that's going to prevent you from being able to learn the principles to apply them, but your general understanding of the text itself. Like for example, when you see وَأَمَّا الْأَفْعَالُ الْخَمْسَةُ فَتُرْفَعُ بِالنُّونِ وَتُنْصَبُ وَتُجْزَمُ بِحَذْفِهَا. You're not going to understand, what does this mean? وَأَمَّا, what's the word amma mean? You can't even understand the metin of the text, the text of the book, because of the fact that you don't know any Arabic whatsoever. And so you should take the approach of learning Arabic first, learning vocabulary, familiarizing yourself with words, benefiting from comprehension, and then making your way towards studying a book like this. The third thing that I wanted to mention, inshallah ta'ala, is Al-Ajurumiyya. It is actually a very summarized book. Okay, and to show to you that it is a summarized book, that the metin, the text itself was very simple, is that there's a lot of explanation that's happened to this book. So much so that you've also had a book that was compiled after Al-Ajurumiyya, which is called the Mutammima, the completion of Al-Ajurumiyya. Because of the fact that Al-Ajurumiyya, although it's an amazing book, but it's very simple and it's overly simplified. And sometimes overly simplifying something can cause confusions in students who especially don't have good tadarruj and good progression in their studies. And therefore, another book was made after that, which is the Mutammima, which kind of fills in the gaps and makes everything a bit more complete. But the fact that that happens showcases that the book is very simple and you do need to have a bit more expansion to it as well. But if you're really taking the book without any prior knowledge and then you're taking a simplified book, which is overly simplified, you will definitely find that there's going to be gaps in your knowledge. Because sometimes things are abbreviated, okay? And because you haven't studied anything previously, it doesn't make sense to you now. I hope, inshallah ta'ala, that made sense. But those are the 3 main points, okay? 3 main points, which is number 1, when you study this book, you're studying principles that are applied on the language. And if you don't know any language prior to that, in terms of Arabic, you're going to find it very difficult to really make sense of what is marfu', mansub, makhfud, what is mubtada khabar, what is maf'ul, what is jumlatul ismiyya, jumlatul fi'aliyya, what is huruf al-jar, jar wal majroor, mudaf, mudaf ilayh. All these things are going to be alien to you because of the fact that you don't even know how to apply them because you don't have any vocabulary. On top of that, if you don't know any Arabic, you're not going to benefit from the text and the reading and understanding it. What's going to happen is you'll have a teacher that's going to have to overly explain everything because of the fact that there is a gap in there's a language barrier here. And thirdly, being that the book is very, very simplified. And so if you jump into the book at an early stage with gaps in your knowledge, then what's going to happen is, due to the oversimplification, you will find it even more harder. And that is going to be something that will perhaps turn a person away. And so I hope, inshallah ta'ala, that was of benefit to you, inshallah ta'ala. My point was to mention that a person should study Al-Ajurumiyya. It's a book that should definitely be benefited from. And this, by the way, is, for example, one of the best shuruhat that have ever been written, which is At-Tuhfat Saniyya on the Kitab Al-Ajurumiyya. But do it at a point in a stage in your life where you've grounded yourself a little bit prior so that you can make sense of what's going to come forward, inshallah ta'ala. Let it be the case that Al-Ajurumiyya is a stepping stone in you reaching, your end goal of grammar or understanding the Quran eventually, rather it being something that basically, stops you in your tracks. Which is what happens to a lot of people. So I hope inshallah ta'ala you benefited from this video. If there are any other thoughts or benefits that you guys might have in regards to Al-Ajurumiyya, and maybe if you have an experience of you having studied the book and you found it difficult, you could probably share with us why you think you may have found it difficult. There might be some other reasons as well, inshallah ta'ala. That's it. And I'll see you guys in the next video, inshallah ta'ala. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullah khairan. On a side note, inshallah ta'ala, if you do want to study Arabic grammar and you want to do it, in a progressive manner where you're not basically going to be confused, you can always check out the School of Arabic, our institute where we teach the Arabic language. We have 4 pathways: speaking, reading, Arabic grammar, and Quranic Arabic as well. And everything is based upon, sequential progress. Okay, so when you start from the very beginning and you make your way to the very top. And one of the things, inshallah ta'ala, that we will study eventually is Al-Ajurumiyya there as well. So that's something that you can benefit from as well. May Allah bless you all. The link is in the bio if you want to check it out. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.